My sister and I spent $60,000 on a Disney Vacation Club timeshare.
And we impulsively purchased the Disney Vacation Club. This is one of my most embarrassing debts that we have.
I spent $17,000 on a Disney Vacation Club membership for my 30th birthday. I didn't know what this was. And the one thing I do regret is not purchasing it then. Even though I only had $20 in my bank account.
I spend $8,100 a year on Disney Vacation Club dues, and yes, it's going up to $8,500. And yes, I probably bought enough DVC to pay for a small house. That's how I choose to spend my money.
A lot of Disney adults are buying into Disney Vacation Club, thinking it's just a membership for super fans. And it's not. It's deeded real estate, a contract recorded in public records. And if you don't understand that, you could be committing to something way bigger than a vacation. Now, before y'all start debating on whether this is a good or a bad thing, let's define what Disney Vacation Club actually is. Now, according to DisneyVacationClub.disney.go.com, in the frequently asked questions, it says, "Is my purchase a real estate transaction?" Inquiring minds would like to know. And they reply with, yes, you have indeed purchased an ownership interest in a Disney Vacation Club resort. A deed is recorded in public records representing your ownership interest. And it goes on to state that this real estate interest entitles you to an annual allotment of vacation points that you use to reserve accommodations through Disney Vacation Club. This is not a hotel rewards program. This is not a discounted club. This is deeded real estate tied to a resort. Actually, I think NerdWallet did a pretty good job explaining what this is in more regular terms. In this article, they state, the Disney Vacation Club, also known as DVC, is a type of timeshare program operated by the Walt Disney Company. Going on to state, given the limitations, high costs, and serious commitment required, DVC is not for everyone. And it's definitely not for everybody, but here's a few people who are saying it was just right for them. Let's see why.
My sister and I spent $60,000 on a Disney Vacation Club timeshare, so let's talk about it. Up until the week that I actually bought into Disney Vacation Club, I thought it was a total scam, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know that much about it, but just my impression was it was a scam. The story about how we got suckered into actually going to a DVC presentation is another story, but basically we went to it, we realized it actually made sense for us, and we bought into it. We own about 450 points at the Grand Floridian, and what this gets us is a 2-bedroom villa for just over a week every single year for the next 45 years. So we paid $60,000 for that up front, and then every year we also pay maintenance fees. Maintenance fees will go up every single year for the next 45 years, but right now they're around $2,000.
$2,000 for her maintenance fees every year. Now, might be very doable for her and her sister. Reason I say that is because they paid cash and didn't finance their Disney Vacation Club. Everybody, when you get into these timeshares or things like them, specifically the Disney Vacation Club, you must still pay the maintenance fees even though you paid the upfront cost, which was $30,000 a piece split between her and her sister because they both paid $60,000. I don't know how many people can pay that upfront, and she is most definitely very blessed to be able to pay that upfront. And congratulations to her. However, this is where things can get very dangerous for a lot of Disney lovers, because imagine paying Disney every month for a property, real estate that you own, as well as paying those outrageous maintenance fees of around $2,000 that she named. That's the whole bill. And you really must evaluate how much your individual living expenses are before you get wrapped into things like timeshares. So many people get wrapped into timeshares and they're trying to find a way out. I'm personally not a fan. However, for her and her situation, this might work. But from what I see as a whole, timeshares for most people end up being a money pit, a thing that they regret doing, a thing that they wish they never did.
And if you're hearing me say this, you're probably thinking, wow, you got ripped off. But here's why I didn't get ripped off. So first off, one of the biggest reasons that people should not buy into DVC is if they're going to finance it. If you finance it through Disney, you'll be paying so much interest that it just doesn't make sense at all. We paid all upfront in cash, so that was one thing that we did right. The next thing is that, yes, I said 45 years. So DVC only makes sense for people who are actually going going to stay at a deluxe resort in a large villa every single year for the length of their contract, and we are going to. 4 to 5 years is a lot to commit to. People might be thinking, are you really going to go to Disney every single year for the next 45 years? But I'm 29 and I've gone to Disney every single year since basically I was born, and I don't really plan on stopping.
That's another great point. With timeshares, a lot of the people that own timeshare properties aren't even able to get to the locations where they own the timeshares because of things like work, jobs, life circumstances, kids. Whatever it is that's tying you to a specific location, that's the why. And on top of that, what if you don't want a vacation at the places that are offered in your timeshare? This is why it can become wasteful for some. In her case, she plans on going to Disney for the next 45 years. And I know the Disney adults right now hearing this are like, heck yeah, sign me up. One thing I would challenge everyone to think about is your life right now might look a little bit different in 41 years. Don't you think? Like, maybe. I think we can all agree that's at least a possibility. So I challenge you all just to think long term for where you see your life headed. Does that make the most sense?
The next question is probably, so why do a timeshare? Why not just pay regular cash for the rooms every single year? And this is where actually, if you look at a spreadsheet, which we have, I'm happy to share if anyone has more questions on it, it does end up helping you save money by buying into the timeshare, by basically paying for the room price now versus in the future. And by that, I mean a 2-bedroom villa at the Grand Floridian has astronomically increased in price since they first were created, and it's only going to continue to do so. I'm certainly not saving money in the first year, or the second year, or the third year, or the fourth year, but by the 15th year, the 20th year, we're going to end up actually saving a ton of money versus just paying the cash price. And then another bonus for us is that we have annual passes, and because we're out of state, we can only have the Incredipass. That's $1,400 to $1,500. But because we have DVC, we can get the Sorcerer Pass. That's about $900. So for 4 people at $500 of savings each, we're saving $2,000 a year on annual passes alone. So yes, $60,000 cash plus maintenance fees every year. It does not make sense for everyone. In fact, it makes sense for very few people, but for us, it did make sense, and that's why we bought into it. To be honest, although I'm all about encouraging people to take a Disney vacation and even stay on site, I would never encourage anyone to buy into DVC because really you have to do so much research to make sure it makes sense for you and your family.
And I'm glad that she said that last piece right there. This works well for her, and that's great. This can end so bad for many people though. Like, I need to see the comments. This first comment says, we bought in 30 years ago, 200 points for $9K. We have gotten about $100K worth of stays out of it. Now, if y'all were ever wondering how loyal the Disney adults are, here's your proof. People have bought into DVC and plan to go to Disney every year, which if you can afford to do that, why not? Do what you want to do with your money. Where it gets dangerous is where people who can't afford to do things start to rationalize things like this because they see videos online, they see TikToks, they hear about things like the DVC, and they say to themselves, yeah, I want to go to Disney every year. I would love to have a place to stay. This will save me money over time. No, it might cost you more than you're saving, because the truth of the matter is everybody has different incomes. And some of the people y'all are seeing in these videos, they got big bank. Her and her sister drops 60K. Excuse me? How things looking? She ain't hurting. And this is an interesting comment right here. It says, let's consider the opportunity cost if you place that $60,000 in the S&P 500 for 45 years at a 10% annual return. So many numbers that I need my magnifying glass. $4 million something dollars. And they go on to say, that's what you paid/lost. Now, I didn't pull out my calculator, so I can't confirm nor deny. But she went on to say, here's the thing, that logic only works if you're going to do that. We both have very healthy savings, investments, and retirement. Life isn't all about saving money. It's about having fun. And you know what? The way she got on this video and said that they just dropped the $30,000 and she didn't bat an eye. Did y'all notice? Y'all have to pick up on the cues. When somebody says stuff like that, either they're doom spending or they might actually have it. They might actually have it because everybody ain't out here struggling. And she just came here with a serious flex. She said, wait a minute, I got it all. Savings, investments, retirement, and a DVC. She got the Disney Vacation Club. She's going every year to Disney from what it seems like she can afford to do. Now, I want to make this very clear. What I am saying is not to rag on anybody who is doing this, who can afford to do so financially, because we all have things that we would like to spend our money on in the event we have extra money laying around. Do I like the idea of timeshares? Absolutely not. But her experience opens up a whole topic of discussion. And I think it's very needed because a lot of y'all love Disney. Y'all are the adults crying over Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, and going crazy for the Grinch at Disneyland. Wait, is the Grinch at Disneyland or is he at Universal? I can't keep up. Anyway, you'll go broke about the Disney magic. You will. Now, somebody here said, ha ha ha, what? $60K for only a week. Different strokes for different folks. And another comment here saying timeshares is one of the biggest legal scams there is, including with Disney. And I want you all to comment down below, how do you feel about timeshares? And do you think for her this was a wise decision? It looks like it worked well for her, but let's see another story.
This is part 3 of how we got into massive debt, and this is one of my most embarrassing debts that we have.
Now, before we hear how she got into this conundrum, do y'all see it says here, how we got into $128,000 of debt, part 3. I might need a part 1, but let's start here.
A few years ago, our family took a trip to Disney and we impulsively purchased the Disney Vacation Club. And we did so by financing it. If you don't know what the Disney Vacation Club, or DVC, is, it's kind of like a timeshare for Disney World. Except instead of having one specific resort or specific weeks of the year that you get to use it, it's a point system. You buy a certain number of points, and then those points can get redeemed at any DVC resort any time of the year that they have availability. That means you can end up staying at Disney World properties, Disneyland properties, and they also have other DVC resorts like in Hawaii and in Europe. So it definitely provides like a lot of opportunity to travel. Now, with that being said, this is a very bougie luxury purchase that we had no business making. There were some incentives when we purchased, so the total cost of financing was around $27,000. Now, was this stupid? Yes, I know that. But I promise you, our hearts were in a good place, but like our financial literacy was zero. When we took this trip and made this purchase, we were a foster family. We were supposed to go on this trip with 3 kids, but then at the last second, we got placed with 2 extra kids, and we wound up rearranging everything so that way we could take those 2 kids to Disney with us. So we were traveling as a family of 7. They got placed with us only 2 weeks before the trip, so I was just coming off of like rearranging everything. We were supposed to stay at a moderate resort in a normal hotel room. We ended up switching to the cabins because the cost of trying to rent 2 hotel rooms right next to each other was super expensive, and then any sort of like suite at the luxury resorts was insanely expensive. So the cabin was the only thing that was like somewhat affordable and could fit a family of 7. So obviously I'm just coming off the adrenaline of all that rearranging of the plans, and then one super hot sunny day while we were there, we ended up at one of the DVC informational like booths where they have fans and water, and they're like trying to draw you in, obviously. And we had just gone under there to get out of the sun for a few minutes. Of course, the representative starts talking to us about all the details and everything. And my husband and I are just so gullible, and we very quickly got suckered in. We went on a tour and saw the different DVC resorts and how beautiful they are. But more than just how beautiful they are, it makes access to like the suites that can fit large families a lot easier in comparison to just getting 2 rooms or getting a suite like at market value. So obviously we didn't have the money to pay for something like this in full. We never should have financed it. But our thinking at the time was, if we're going to keep being foster parents and we're always going to have lots of kids in our family, which when we were foster parents, we averaged having 5 kids at a time. So if we knew we were going to continue to be a large family, we wanted to know that we would still be able to travel and be able to take the kids with us. There are respite services, so that way foster kids don't have to travel with you, but that's just not what we want to do. If they're living with us and we're going on vacation, they're coming with us. I also should add that we didn't have anywhere near as much consumer debt at the time compared to what we have now. We just foolishly thought that this would be a good investment and give us an opportunity to travel with a lot of kids. Am I proud of this purchase? No. Was it necessary? No. So we have looked into selling it, but we're currently upside down in our loan. If we were to try to sell it right now, we would actually have to pay $10,000 to have the loan fully paid off and be able to like release the title of it. Come back for part 4, where I'm going to explain why we thought it was a good idea to install an in-ground pool.
And ma'am, I'm at to check out your profile. Back to the story. And this points out something very common that we see with people that have timeshares trying to get rid of them. I'm actually glad that she brought that up. Unfortunately for her, she's upside down $10,000 for her Disney Vacation Club. So it's kind of like having a car, but you have negative equity. But you have negative equity on your timeshare through Disney Vacation Club. So you can't even sell it and get what you want to get for it because it's not worth how much you bought it for. This is frustrating. Oh, the math. Oh. Interestingly enough, this supports what I was saying earlier, where I was saying what you are experiencing right now in current day may not be your situation later in life. As we can see, this woman here was fostering children. She had additional children come. There wasn't enough room. She wanted to change some plans up. Everything was getting hectic. And on a stressful way. They caught her slipping. And they say, you know what? We got an offer for you that you can't refuse. You know what? You look like you need a Disney vacation club. Yeah, a little bit of real estate. You like real estate, don't you? Yeah, I know you do. You look like the type. Yeah, you like Disney? You one of them Disney adults? Oh, we like you. Actually, we love you. You love Mickey Mouse? I love Mickey Mouse. Yeah, you should come sit down and have a little presentation with us. No, it'll be quick. You know, just a little 30 minutes. You don't got to commit to nothing. We got water. We got refreshments. Even got some chips. We got something for the kids. Snacks. AC. It's hot out here. Yeah. Come on. It sounds good, don't it? Yeah. You can come to Disney once a year. You and all the kids. This will be so less stressful for your husband. Y'all won't have to plan anything. You already have the property here. You'll be an owner. You have ownership. You'll have real estate. Everybody wants to own real estate nowadays, don't they? Real estate is so high. This is your chance. And not just any real estate, Disney real estate. Come on down here, why don't you? Sign right here on the dotted line. I make it worth your while, I promise. You see, all of that is how they get y'all. All that smooth talk, you done forgot your whole life. All you thought about was Mickey Mouse. All the Disney magic. We'll be able to have such fun and memories. Everybody will have the Mickey Mouse ears and we can take family pictures for the photo album. And that's how they butter you up and cake you up to sign on the dotted line. I'm not telling y'all no lies. I have attended timeshare presentations and y'all, I almost got God. I won't even lie. I almost got God. I was younger, but I'm strapped with the knowledge now. So them timeshare agents hate to see me coming now. But anyway, they are smooth talkers. Their job is to make you feel like you are missing out, like this is something you need. And they are here to cater to you. No Destiny's Child. They trying to do it for Mickey Mouse. And unfortunately for her, she financed hers. She didn't even pay it all the way. And she admits she couldn't afford it. That's the part that really gets me. Actually, it doesn't get me because it's not my wallet. It actually gets her. It gets me for those of y'all who may fall victim. I don't want to see y'all fall victim. $27,000 being financed is an additional bill. And we don't know how draining that is to each person individually. And guess who doesn't care? The salesmen who are pitching to you all these timeshares. Do you think the people who are trying to sell the Disney Vacation Club care about you after you leave? Because I'm telling you here, they don't. I'm telling you they don't. You can do all the crying and complaining about how you can't afford your bills. This is too much. You need to reverse things to make it right. You need to sell that timeshare. And let me tell you, they will lock you in the best they can. They will sink their heels into your neck, actually into your wallet, and bleed you dry financially. That was a little violent. Whew. And I'm only telling y'all the truth because I love y'all. And this is crazy because she was saying this is how she got into massive debt, actually $27,000 worth, because she impulsively spent for this Disney Vacation Club. Now, this first comment got me stressed out. And it says here, why are all the Disney adults in debt? It's a catastrophe out. She said, I didn't even want to be a Disney adult. Well, ma'am, it's a little too late. You wanted magic, and this is what you get. Gotta tighten up. All y'all Disney adults. Because if you go into debt for Disney, you are officially a Disney adult. I don't care if you don't like Minnie, Mickey, Duck, Goose. I don't care. You're a Disney adult if you go into massive debt for Disney. Because, guys, we're the adults. We're the adults, guys. It's us. It's us. We're supposed to be the responsible ones, I think. Can we blame this on the boomers? I don't know. I know a lot of y'all want to blame this on the boomers. We're supposed to be responsible. Oh. Another comment says, I love our DVC membership, but you need to be able to pay it in cash or nearly all in cash. And she said she agrees 100%. Now I want to know down below, is there anybody who got the DVC that didn't pay it in cash and can't afford to pay it all the way in cash? And is it because you're a Disney adult? And if it's no judgment here. I am just trying to do a head count. I'm a little concerned. But I digress.
I spent $17,000 on a Disney Vacation Club membership for my 30th birthday. If you aren't familiar with what Disney Vacation Club is, it's essentially a membership that you buy into Disney that works just like a timeshare. In 2015, I was first introduced into what Disney Vacation Club membership was. Right. I did a timeshare with my family, sat down, and at that time I was still relatively young. I was an adult, but I was still relatively young, so I didn't know what this was. And the one thing I do regret is not purchasing it then. Even though I only had $20 in my bank account as a poor college student, I really felt like I should have invested then.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. And so am I. Okay. Let me do me. $20 in your wallet. And you still wish you did it. This interesting to say the least. And this is how I know this is a Disney adult, hands down. If you gonna use your last $20 and to go into debt for $17K when you don't got no money, is this the equivalent to going into debt for vacation? Because I feel like this is when you technically are using it for Disney. Specifically for Disney, once a year. That's what it seems like for most people, once a year.
So I am in no shape or form an expert when it comes to Disney Vacation Club, but I did enough research to where I thought that this option was the best option for me and my future when it comes to Disney vacations. I bought in to a 100-point contract with Disney at the Polynesian. I feel like I could have not purchased a more perfect contract. So I go to Disney once a year, every year. I haven't missed a year except for COVID. When I was thinking about the amount of money that I was spending at Disney, this just made sense. For me, as a solo traveler, I usually pay upwards towards $2,000 to $3,000 every time I go to Disney, as I go for a week every year. Those trips have amplified with me participating in Run Disney events as they are held at Walt Disney World. So now I have increased my trip times to 2 to 3 times a year.
Now, did y'all hear how much she said she's spending every year on Disney? Do you understand why the Disney adults are struggling? And by the Disney adults, I mean the ones who don't care if they go into debt. They are going to Disney regardless every year. They don't care about how much money they have coming in. They will put it on their credit card. They will put it on Klarna, Afterpay. They'll put it on whatever they have to put it on. They will finance it. They'll do Disney Vacation Club and get them a little spot in the cut. And on top of that, pay maintenance fees for Disney. This is not a game, y'all. I know a lot of y'all don't think this is going on. It absolutely is. And it's not just Disney. It's all of these timeshares. They are getting people. I think it needs to be studied at this point.
That's a lot of money to be coming out of my pocket for Disney vacations, but I enjoy participating in Run Disney events. They keep me healthy, they keep me active, and they're really fun. So the amount of points that I have purchased allows me to go 2 to 3 times a year with 1 week-long vacation and 2 weekend vacations. With Run Disney, I usually go from Friday to Monday, and then I always have my fall trip, which is always a week long, and then I have a winter trip that I am going to be doing each year now that I have my vacation club. The reason why I invested into this and gifted myself this for my 30th birthday was, one, I wanted to solidify what my hotel prices were for the rest of my life, essentially. My contract is, I believe, for 42 more years. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's written down somewhere. For 42 years, I have this contract. A lot of people will say that's a long time to stay committed to something. However, there are options that you can take when it comes to your DVC membership. As of now, you can resell it. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, but if you don't have the means to continue on with the membership, you have the option to resell, and you have the option to pass it down to your family as time progresses. So if and when I have kids, I'll be able to pass that down to them so that they'll always have a vacation to go on.
Now, one thing we need to keep in mind is that this is real estate, like we talked about in the beginning of this video. Even if you pay in full for the Disney Vacation Club, did you notice that the people who even paid it in full still had to pay their maintenance fees? Well, guess what? That's not going away. Or if there's any taxes associated with that, because again, this is deeded real estate, that still must be paid. So if you pass that down to your children or to somebody as a beneficiary, guess who now must pay those fees or those taxes or the dues? They don't just go away. It's just like when you own a home, you still have to pay taxes on it. It's the same thing. It's deeded real estate. Actually, it says here, just after a little Google search, key considerations for passing down a DVC are ongoing costs. Children will be responsible for annual dues, which can increase annually. So now you have to ask yourself, are the children or whoever you decide to be your beneficiary Disney adults? Are they interested? What is their lifestyle going to be looking like? Can they commit themselves to going to Disney every year like you were? Do they have the resources to pay the maintenance fee every year? Will they be Disney card holders? Will they have Disney annual passes like you did? Will they even be able to afford that in 100 years? I don't know. You don't know. And that's the point. It's something to think about. All I want to do is to encourage you all to think long term, not just about you, like, oh, I'm passing it down to my kids. Okay, cool. What if they don't want the magic? What if they don't like Disney? Do they bring shame to the family? I don't know. But as it says here, and I definitely recommend this, it says legal advice. It is highly recommended to consult with a estate planner, or an attorney to ensure the deed is transferred according to state law and to minimize probate. Because again, y'all, this is some really serious stuff here. This is not just, oh, we're going to be able to stay in Disney for cheaper than we normally would. This is legally binding documents that a lot of you all are signing on vacation willy-nilly. It's like buying a house or something, or getting a condo and then just being like, well, you know what? I didn't know it was this big of a deal. Yes, you won't know it's that big of a deal until you try to get rid of it and sell it. And you might be in the negative. This whole thing goes even to court. If you pass away without a will or a trust, the membership becomes a part of your estate and the probate court will determine the transfer. Yeah, y'all, this is not a game.
That is something that I always want to do. I gifted myself that membership. I'm very excited to be a DVC member. It has allowed me more opportunity to travel to different places. As you guys know, I just got back from a 2-week trip to Asia, and that's something that I wouldn't have been able to afford if I would have been paying for a Disney trip. But if you guys want a little bit more information,
You could afford it if you just don't do the Disney trip, right? She's spending a lot on Disney. I don't know. Now, we done heard a lot of the younger people talk about how they feel about the Disney Vacation Club, but I actually found a video quite recent of a woman describing what she is paying in 2026, and she's an older Disney adult. Now, I want to know, what do y'all think about this? Now, go in open-minded now. Let's hear her out, because it says on the screen, $8,100, but open-minded.
I spend $8,100 a year on Disney Vacation Club dues, and yes, it's going up to $8,500, and yes, I probably bought enough DVC to pay for a small house. That's how I choose to spend my money. I love DVC, I love traveling the world, and I do both. No, most DVC members are not boring people. We love magic, we love experiences. So if you feel sorry for me, don't come in here judging me in the comments about how I spend my money. If you do, know that Disney people are wildly loyal and they'll have my back. So bring it on. Follow along for more DVC in a minute without apologies.
And the part is getting me. I gotta go back, y'all. The Disney adult, they gonna come through every time. One thing about it, it says worth every penny. I've solo traveled the world to almost 30 countries, and I've been to Disney 5 times a year. Both are great if it makes one happy. We love DVC. Are they spending your money? Who cares how someone spends their money? If it makes them happy, I guess. I have my own beliefs about that, because some people I really cared about ain't here no more because they was doing stuff that made them happy. They was spending money doing it. They gave up the ghost. They not here with me no more. But I digress. That's a little too dark. Can't be much darker than the Disney magic, because what? Dark things. What I really want to pay attention to here is it's increasing from $8,100 to $8,500. And that's the other thing. Increases in dues or whatever it is that she's paying here, for her, you know, great that she can afford it, but man, can you imagine having to pay an extra $400 for your Disney Vacation Club vacation that you can go to maybe once a year? But again, this is how she wants to spend her money, her choice. Another thing I want to point out here is these contracts are about 40 years, 50 years, if they even go up that high. That's a long time, y'all. This is a long-term commitment that you have no choice but to pay. No choice. Just another thing that we need to consider. Now, Disney is actually very smart. And the reason I say that is because if we're looking at things from the psychological and emotional aspect of their marketing, they're brilliant. I don't have anything to say as a business, brilliant, because they are selling to you all nostalgia, that feeling of how you felt when you watched those Disney movies when you were a kid. And a lot of y'all want to go back to that at any cost, even $8,100 a year, and you'll gladly do it. But it not only sets this sense of nostalgia for you, it also does it for your children, because a lot of y'all are bringing your kids with you and you're like, oh, they got to experience the Disney magic, and y'all are breaking them in as young as 1 month old. Like, babies be fresh out the body with the Disney ears on. Some of y'all even identifying as a Disney family, like this woman here. Not saying she did, but look at this. This is the fam. She got the fam bam out here. 1 pig, 2 pigs. I think that's her daughter. I don't know. You get my point. And if that's the daughter, now your daughter Disney eared down, and then she gonna be trying to be down with the crew next. Like, and then you end up in this cycle of, well, we have the resort thing, we might as well go down there and use it. And then when you go down to Disney, you spend more money and you giving Disney more money that you may or may not be able to afford to give. The cost of things are going up year after year, and you're stuck in these Disney Vacation Club contracts. You're stuck. There's no getting out of that. So I would say this: if you are stretching to make this fit, it's probably not a good fit for you right now, because you got Ratatouille at home, or however you say Ratatouille. There it is. You got Ratatouille at home. Now, some of y'all might be all about that Disney magic, but remember, these are financial obligations. So make sure you're buying with math and not just thinking about the nostalgia. But we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.